Welcome to Podcast Stories. I was completely caught off guard. My wife, Maggie, dropped a bombshell on me, actually, 2 bombshells. "Mac, we need to talk," she said when I walked in from work. She was still in her business suit, while I was in my work coveralls from overseeing my chocolate business. "I'm Angus Mac McDougall, and my wife is Margaret Sullivan McDougall." Yes, she hyphenates her last name. Seems a bit pretentious to me, but hey, she prefers Maggie. I'm Scottish, she's Irish. Looking back, maybe our differing backgrounds should have been a sign, but I was smitten with her golden blonde hair, green eyes, and incredible physique. We met a decade ago when I left the army and started college alongside her. She was 18, I was 22, using the GI Bill to study culinary arts while she pursued accounting. Somehow, we clicked. Maybe it was her love for chocolate matched with my dream of creating chocolate treats. My mom adored chocolate, and so did many others. Chocolate was always in demand, not just at Christmas, but also Valentine's Day, Easter, Independence Day, you name it. Valentine's Day rivaled Christmas in chocolate sales, and my chocolate shop usually thrived more during Valentine's. Oh, and I despise my first name, Angus. Seriously, Mom, did you have to name me Angus? I go by Mac with everyone. Not even my wife calls me Angus. Well, except when Mom and Dad are mad at me. Otherwise, I'm just Mac. So, Maggie had just told me that we needed to talk. I tensed up immediately since every guy on earth knows what those 4 words mean when strung together in a sentence. We know it and fear it. "We need to talk" has been the forerunner of breakups and divorces since the dawn of time. So it was with a sense of impending doom that I sat down at the table and looked at her. I knew my world was about to come crumbling down around me. 10 years together, 8 of those happily married. Well, I had been happily married. I had believed the same of Maggie. I flashed through the possible reasons for what she was about to say. Sex? No way. We had sex on a regular basis, usually 4 or 5 times a week in marathon sessions at that. I never failed to get her off multiple earth-shattering times. We had a great sex life. Money? Not likely. I was pulling down 6 figures a year, net close to $250,000 after everything was settled with overhead, payroll for my employees, taxes, etc. We were doing very well here. Our combined income was close to $375,000 a year. We were not hurting. Lack of love? Not on my part. I loved her with all my heart and soul. Had she fallen out of love with me somewhere along the way? Hell, we had just been talking about starting a family a week ago. She interrupted my reverie by pushing the dreaded manila envelope across the kitchen table to me as I sat down. "Maggie, please tell me this isn't what I think it is." I looked at her, and her face was a studied mask that betrayed nothing. "I'm sorry, Mac," she said softly. "I should have talked to you before, but I wanted a divorce." "Why?" I asked, with far more calm in my voice than I was feeling at that moment. "It's complicated," she hedged, looking away. "You met someone else?" I must have been in shock since I still hadn't flown into a rage. "Yes," she said, even more softly, barely whispering. "How long?" I asked. God, what was wrong with me? I should have been standing and pacing back and forth as I called her everything but a child of God. I should have been threatening the man for whom she was trading me in. I should have felt something other than total numbness. 8 months, she said. I closed my eyes. 8 months, I repeated. You've been cheating on me for 8 months, and the first I hear about it is that you want a divorce. I shrugged. I suppose you're going to take me to the cleaners in court since alienation of affection isn't looked kindly upon here in California. I'm left with very little recourse here. No, Mac, she said as she shook her head slowly. Your business is yours, not mine. The house is mine by inheritance from my grandparents, but I will give you a few days to vacate after you've found your own place. Of course, I'll be seeking marginal alimony for a while until I remarry. Nothing bank-breaking, though, I sighed. Do I know him? I asked at length. If you harm him in any way, you'll end up in jail, she said unnecessarily. Not that I didn't want to harm him, but I didn't want to lose my business either. I think I have a right to know who's been horning me for the past 8 months, though, I shrugged. Reginald Pennington, she said, holding her head up straight. Son of a, that friend was bombshell number 2. I hated him already, even before this. Okay, Now I was angry. I closed my eyes and took deep breaths to calm myself. Reginald Pennington, blonde, blue-eyed, mega-rich from old money. Oh, and ultra-snobby with a racist, bigoted streak a mile wide too. I had warned Maggie about him after we had dinner with him to discuss some of the charities we were all involved with at the time. She laughed off my warning and told me he was harmless. Yeah, right. Harmless like a rattlesnake. We'd met him at a charity event in our community, and even then, I didn't like the way he'd been looking at Maggie. He looked at me with disdain and at her with pure lust in his eyes. My anger barely under control, I finally managed to look Maggie in the eyes again. Well, I guess there isn't much I can do about it then, I shrugged as nonchalantly as I could. I wish it hadn't come to this, Mac, she smiled sadly, which I knew was an act. She was just trying to ease my pain. I saw through it for what it really was though. That's a lie, Max, I said evenly. My brain was now working on a plan. But whatever, I'm not going to contest the divorce as long as it is what you say it is. I'll have my lawyer go over the papers with me before I sign them, you know? She nodded. I wouldn't expect anything less. Just so you know, it wasn't anything you did or didn't do. Reginald and I just clicked on a soul level. I really do love you, but I'm in love with him. I'm really sorry it has to be this way, Mac. What a load of. She was in love with his money. His family was worth billions. The night of the charity ball we'd attended, he danced too close to Maggie, and as they separated, I noticed him adjusting himself. After she was coming back to her table, I knew for a fact that he didn't have enough to satisfy her in bed. I almost missed the fact that he had a hard-on under his tight slacks until he adjusted it. I had to, as I did then, suppress a laugh at the fact that, at least size-wise, Maggie was trading way down from my beast. But since I didn't want to rock the boat quite yet, I just said, I'm sorry too. Well, after that little talk, she handed me the manila envelope. You'll be officially served in the morning, Mac. I'll meet you with my lawyer at Tim's office. This is just a preview of what I want from the settlement. She's referring to Tim Grayson, my best bud since grade school and my lawyer in all things since I started McDougal's Chocolate Factory. You know what, get rid of the alimony, and you have a done deal. Reggie is rich, you don't need my money, do you? I knew it was a long shot, but she owed me that at the very least. She seemed to think about it. Hell, if she went for it, I might not even go through with the plan that had already semi-formed in my head. No, Mac, I need something from all of this. After all, I did waste 10 years of my life with you. Oh hell no. That statement right there, that our entire marriage, indeed our entire time together while dating and being engaged, had just been a waste of her time, galvanized me. I looked at the proposed alimony and raised one eyebrow. She wanted $2,200 a month in alimony for 2 years or until she remarried, whichever came first. That was about half of what I made per month after overhead and paying my workers. I could live on it, and I had more than enough saved in my personal savings account. I pretended to think about it. Fine, I guess that it will be worth it in the end, I shrugged. Finally, I'm going to pack now. I'm leaving tonight, and I did. I packed my suitcase and suit bag with my clothes, toiletries, and all that. I also packed my extensive music CD collection that included everything from Marty Robbins to Metallica to Mozart. Yeah, it encompassed all those genres. Hell, I even had some Celine Dion in there just for shits and giggles. I loaded it all into Bullet, my 1968 Mustang Fastback 390 GT, and left out of there. I was gone in less than an hour and calling Kat on my cell phone as soon as I was on the road. Hey Mac, what's up? Kat answered on the second ring. Kat, I just got kicked out, and I'm going to be served divorce papers in the morning at Tim's office. Maggie is trading up, at least in her mind, I snorted, the bitterness finally showing through in my voice. Are you kidding me? She sounded as shocked as I felt. No, I'll be staying at the Holiday Inn until I can find a place, I replied. Oh hell no, you get your ass over to my place right now, Mr. Man, she was going ghetto on me, as she puts it. Fine, yes ma'am, I chuckled in spite of myself. Good, see you when I see you, she ended the call, and I couldn't help but smile and shake my head. Rule Katrina Monroe is my manager at the Chocolate Factory. She looks quite a bit like Aisha Tyler, only a bit younger, just as tall though, 6 feet of Nubian goddess. We all call her Kat, and she doesn't object. Her boyfriend, Darius Jackson, plays guitar for a rock band, which made him cool in my book. He was